Okay, so today on Cookie's Tech and Talk Table, we have a special presentation. We are going to do a live unboxing and review of Bayonetta, the Climax Edition for the Nintendo Switch, straight from Japan. Yes, I waited several weeks for this to come to me in the mail, and we're going to do a live unboxing and review of the story and the game here on Cookie's Tech and Talk Table. Stay tuned. So welcome to this edition of Cookie's Tech and Talk Table. I am now about to open live the Bayonetta Climax Edition straight from Japan. So what I also put on the table was my edition of Bayonetta 2 right here for the Wii U. I know it has nothing to do with the live unboxing right here, but I just put it there to show my dedication to the series. That version came with both Bayonetta 1 and 2 for Wii U. But I'm just going to get straight into this unboxing right here. I have my trusty knife, which I'm going to carefully open it. I could have bought the game the moment it came out for the Nintendo Switch in America, but I honestly wanted a physical version of both the first and the second game. I've been following this game since PlayStation 3 when Sega and Platinum had the license to put it on Sony platform. But since then, I never got a chance to get the limited edition version for the Wii U, which shows the book and everything. But I did get the limited edition book. I did do that. And that rests in my library. Okay. Let's look at this box here. Okay, so I know some of you out there are wondering, what is the difference? So this is the difference right here. In the European version, there is a Climax Edition released in Europe, but you only get a physical version of the second game, which is her right here, and a digital code download for her in the first game. But you get the cards, the collectible stickers, and the tin can. That you get in the Climax Edition for the European release. The American US release, we didn't receive anything at all. You just get the game in the plastic case like that, or something similar, and a download code. Now, since this is the Japanese version, known as the Non-Stop Climax Edition right here, I'm opening it up right here. There was no plastic on it, but this was the bubble wrap that was wrapped on it, so it came straight from Japan, and everything here is sealed. You do get a physical version of the first game. It's sealed, it's locked right here. Bayonetta 1. I'm going to put that like that for the world to see. Okay, Wii U, you can take a hike. And you get a physical version of the second game. Now, for those of you who are just getting introduced into the game right now, Bayonetta is an Umbra Witch. She was one of the last surviving members of the Umbra Witch clan that were holding on to a sacred treasure known as the Eyes of the World. Now, the witches had the left eye, while the Lumen sages have the right eye. And it was foretold that the sages and the witches held the balance of power of making sure that the earth doesn't go into a state of doom. So that balance in power between light and dark was toppled when a woman named Rosa fell in love with a Lumen sage named Balder. She got pregnant and gave birth to Bayonetta, who was supposed to be kept from the dark arts forever, as her mother Rosa was imprisoned, and the Lumen sage known as Balder was then banished from heaven. Now, with that being said, this triggered a set of events which would turn into the witch hunts, in which the Lumen sages and the Umbra witches were at war for many years. That being the case, they will turn into their mutual destruction, and the last of the Umbra witches, known as Bayonetta, Cereza, which is her real name, will find herself at the center of it all, where she is known as the Sacred Treasure. She was then killed by her best friend Jean, who was next in line to become the queen of the Umbra witches. in which she was sealed for 500 years before she was reawakened by her father Balder, who is a much older person right now, who is overtaken by an evil entity known as Aesir, which you find out in the second game. These are spoiler alerts, guys, so I hope y'all have played the game to understand what I'm saying right here. To try and resurrect an ancient statue known as Jubileus, who will then remake the planet Earth in its own image. So that's just kind of a brief touching of the story right there. Physical first game, physical second game. Now, you also get these collectible cards right here. These are a set of tarot cards. Oh, this is also in plastic too. Okay, let's open these up for the world to see. These are a set of tarot cards that are wielded by one of the main characters in the second game. His name is Loki, and he's known under 3 names because he has 3 different forms. In his kid form, he's known as Loki. In his teenage form, he's known as Lokter, and then in his final form, he's known as Aesir, the god of chaos. Now, he holds on to these cards because he has a power that's different from the Umbra Witches and the Lumen Sages. And this power is known as the Remembrance of Time. So, with the Remembrance of Time, he's able to control the events of what happened in the past, the present, and ultimately try to control the future. And with that being said, he is known as the ominous entity that had taken over Father Balder's consciousness into what led into the events of Bayonetta 1, which we'll learn in Bayonetta 2. So this is like a prequel sequel of the events of things to occur. And these Arcana set are they represent the different heavenly angels and the different heavenly apostles, cherubim, seraphim, angels that you would fight in heaven, and they also represent some of the demons and infernals that you would fight in hell. So in Bayonetta 2, she fights infernals, demons, angels, all that, because they're all after her. She's on the run, and she's trying to save her friend Jean, who saved her from a witch summoning gone wrong. And that's what these cards represent right here. They represent those different entities. Now, what else we have up in this box here? And we also have this tin case right here. This tin case, which I will open, allows you to hold both games, the first game and the second game. Now note, this tin case does show up in the European release of the box set of Nonstop Climax Edition in Europe. The only difference is that there's only one of these there for the second game. The first one does not exist because there's only a download code even in the European release of the Nonstop Infinite Climax box. So, that concludes that. These are the cards. Of course, I'm going to find some way to put this back on. Bayonetta is one of my favorite hack and slash games to date. In fact, I haven't played a RPG hack and slash first person protagonist game of such in a long time. The last game I really played like that was Parasite Eve. And I mean, when Parasite Eve came out, back in the late 90s, 1998, I played that game into the ground. I really played it to the point where I even wanted to unlock everything about the game. And when Parasite Eve 2 came out, I did just the same. I played it into the ground. I unlocked all the modes. I played everything. I wanted 100% in everything. Bayonetta really brought that out in me again, and I haven't felt that passionate about a female protagonist in a very long time. This was very worth the wait. I paid about $230 to get this straight from Japan here. This was very expensive. In terms of the collecting of Bayonetta memorabilia, I hope to eventually collect her $250 earrings from the second game, because she has a pair of couture earrings that are actually real with Swarovski crystals, and I'm willing to pay that for her actual earrings. And to one day get my hands on the collector's edition for the Wii U. So that concludes that right here. The first game, the second game. Oh, I've got some tape on there. Okay, good. I didn't damage the box. I'll put these plastics in there later, and we'll just admire this for a second. We'll go over it one more time. This is her in the first game and her in the second game. And I'm turning this around, and then you have Jean in the back, who plays a big role in helping her uncover her memories in the first game, and then saving her life in the beginning of the second game, and then showing up towards the end, and not only as a helper to help her seal away Aesir, the god of chaos. So this is a bigger box than the European one. I'm sure there are European reviews and unboxings, but I really wanted to go as much in depth as I could with the Japanese one. I hope this was very informative for people. I'm going to open it one more time. Japanese edition. Oh, before I forget, which is very, very important, which is what most people want to know. Yes, this is multiple language support. It's in Spanish, it's in English, it's in Japanese. I believe it's also in Portuguese and in French. Don't quote me on the Portuguese and French part, but I do know for sure it's in Spanish, English, and Japanese, especially. And I'm very honored to have both physical copies of this, which was only released in Japan, not even in Europe. So I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing, and I look forward to doing more unboxings on Cookie's Tech and Talk table. Say Cookie.